Hello everybody, happy record store day. It's the day. It's about noon on the dot as I'm filming this. Hope you all had a great day. It's Christmas for record store day, for record collectors. It's when we get a bunch of crazy releases that we don't really need, but we're like, hey, the pressure and the FOMO kick in and we're like, well, I guess we do need that. So that's what today is. But it's really about supporting your local shops, going out, hanging out with people that are like-minded and that they love music, that they love, record collecting, whatever it might be. This was my first record store day in my current hometown. And it's the first time I've been for a record store day where there are multiple shops around me. So I'm very, very humbled and honored. I'm very, very privileged. That's the word, to be here with several different shops. And it actually ended up coming in handy to be in their shop. So I got up this morning. My shop closest to me, which is about 4 or 5 minutes from my house, opened at 9. So I was telling my buddies, I was saying to myself, I set my alarm, I'm going to try to get there no later than 7:30. Knowing that there was a Taylor Swift vinyl coming out, a single, as well as some other hot items that I knew would attract maybe the non-full-time record collectors. Again, I'm not bashing Taylor Swift at all. I'm not bashing any of these massive releases, because what it does is it makes people understand about record store day. And I'll say that because I got to the store about 7:30, maybe a little bit before. There were about 60 people in line. And I do know that this store had somebody in line yesterday afternoon at 2:30 for the Taylor Swift. She was also in line for the Billy Strings release. And then Tate McRae, who is another new pop artist. And so going into it, I knew there were going to be people there for Taylor Swift, and that's it. So I tried to get there and tried my best to stay calm about there being 60 people in line in front of me, because I knew that many of them were there for Taylor Swift and Billy Strings. What made my store so unique is that Billy was in town last night. He's here again tonight. So he made a special appearance at the shop a couple days ago, signed all of his record store day items. So that brought in the big Billy fans. And unfortunately what that did was it made the line very much a Billy Strings crowd. And I say that with all love, but 7:30 in the morning is not when I want to smell many different funny cigarettes around me. And people were lighting up at 7:30 in the morning. It was insane. You had people showing up selling the bootleg Billy Strings merch, just like they would at the show. A woman kept walking up into the line. She's like, "Are you getting Billy Strings? Are you getting Billy Strings?" She was selling bootleg patches that you put on your clothes. Again, there were t-shirts, there were stickers. It was wild. There were so many people in line wearing tie-dye and wearing the Billy Strings shirts and the hats and stuff from the night before. I was shocked. And the record store guys, when I finally made it inside, they're like, yeah, we had no idea that this was going to happen. But yeah, so lucky for them, they were able to accommodate for the Billy Strings fans. Now, I've got a couple records that I bought for other people because they didn't have them, so I won't show those, but I'll show the ones that I wanted to pick up. Now, I got all but one of my wants. The other one that I wanted was, it was a John Prine, Lost Dogs and Mixed Blessings record of bonus tracks that were released on CD last year, but they haven't been on vinyl. I tried both of my shops. I went in person to 2 shops, called the third. They had it, but it sold out, and I think it was very limited. I know there was another lady in the shop with me who was wanting it, and she said, yeah, I couldn't find it either. So all that to say, I bought some record store day stuff. I also picked up a couple of used records, because like a lot of shops, there are used sales happening outside of the shops from local vendors or other smaller shops that don't do record store day. So that's always cool to do and to support those people. I also got my first YouTube recognition today, which was insane. And what I'll do is I'll go ahead and show that first, just in case you stop watching. But go to Instagram and go to the website. Audio Artifacts has a shop in Stewart's Draft, Virginia. There's all of his information. He's like, yeah, you're YouTube royalty. And I said, yeah. So that was cool. He's good friends with my guy, Ernie at the Trailer Park Pimp. But he was selling a record that I've been wanting for a long time. He had Skaggs and Rice on Rounder Records. I was able to, well, excuse me, I guess Sugar Hill Records. I've been looking for this for a long time. Finally have it, and I'm so glad that I got to buy it there. And then another booth right next to his had a bunch of cool bluegrass items, and I was able to get Norman Blake, Old and New, as well as the Fields of November. But I'll show those more in my monthly music series here in a couple weeks. You all that are watching this probably don't care about that. You want to see what I spent too much money on for Record Store Day. So I'll start with the second shop that I went to here. I was looking for John Prine, but I found an album that was on my secondary list that I was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and grab that. And that is the New Sounds Miles Davis 10-inch EP. This is the first album that he put out as a band leader from 1951. Lacquer's cut from the original tapes by Jeff Powell, takeout vinyl. I know this was a big thing. Put out by Craft Recordings. So very happy to have that. And I'm a big Miles Davis fan, so that's a treat to be able to find that. Everything else I got at the first shop. Again, I was talking to some people in line with me. One of them was brand new to Record Store Day. She was there trying to buy Collective Soul. She was able to get it. And that's what's so great, is that you get in these like little alliances with people that they're like, oh, I don't have any interest in what you're looking for, but if I see it, I'm going to hand it to you, so that, you know, you're in the midst of all the chaos and they're able to find the records for you. I think that's wonderful. So somebody else that was in our little group found the Collective Soul and handed it to this lady. And she was brand new to Record Store Day. She had no idea about it. She was just there for the one record. So we were explaining to her, you know, pretty much our whole hour and a half together in line about Record Store Day, what it was about, explaining the process inside. And the way that my store did it was they had the Taylor Swift singles all together in the back of the store, as well as the Billy Strings. And then everything else was random, but they had it in specific bins. It wasn't mixed in with other records. So you could go to these, you know, plastic crates and find the records. They were not in alphabetical order, so you still had to do a little bit of hunting, but you saw the, you know, 7 or 8 crates that were around the store. They were labeled clearly as Record Store Day, so it wasn't that difficult to go around and flip through, you know, the 25 or so records in each crate and move on. So I got to the front of the line. The guy in front, who was being great, because Taylor Swift sold out quick. He pretty much yelled to the crowd, "Taylor Swift's gone. If that's all you wanted, it's not here." So they left. And he was doing that throughout the day. I think one of the ones was like Weezer and Ween. They had ones, they said Weezer's gone, Ween's gone. So they went through all that and definitely helped kind of thin out the herd a bit. But I mean, there were probably about 100 or so people behind me after 7:30, and people getting there late. You know the drill if you've ever done Record Store Day. So felt bad for the people that got there not realizing that it's as big of a thing as it is, especially for the young kids that were there really wanting Taylor Swift, or, you know, anything else that they were wanting, and the parents getting them there, you know, at 8:45, and it's just, there's just no way that you're going to get it. So I feel really bad. I do. And I kind of told my group that I was standing with, I said, you know, unfortunately, if you don't know about Record Store Day, it's kind of a live and learn situation where you get there, you've learned, and then the next one you're prepared. But unfortunately, you end up missing out on your top list. So anyway, all that to say, I found a few things that I wanted. Like I said, Miles Davis at my second store where I'm parked now, about to head home. But this is one that I wanted. This is the debut, sorry for the glare, Camp. This is their debut 10th anniversary edition. This has their one of their more well-known songs, All the Debts I Owe. This has 4 live tracks and some demos on it. This is one that I just didn't own at all. So for me, this was a must anyway. I was going to get it one way or the other. And so to get it as the deluxe with all of the bonus tracks is great. They're kind of a folk indie group out of Columbus, Ohio. I've talked about them before. They put out an album last year. Their current drummer is from Galax, Virginia, which is a couple hours for me, but I've got to meet him a few times. He's the husband of Dory Freeman, who I'm a big fan of. But this is Camp's first album with their initial lineup, and I'm very, very happy to get that. They had plenty of those, and that seemed to be an item that a lot of people were looking for. Next, I really wanted this. I was really concerned that I wasn't going to be able to get this, but my local shops had a lot of these around, and that is the Brian Wilson On Tour 1999 to 1997. Obviously, I'm a big Beach Boys fan, big Brian Wilson fan. We just lost Brian. This is a gatefold color vinyl. What's so great about this is you don't have your greatest hits necessarily. Like, you don't have, Surfer Girl, Barbara Ann, that kind of stuff. You do have a couple of songs that you might know, like he does Heroes and Villains, Marcella, Forever, which you know as the song by Jesse and the Rippers that the Beach Boys ripped off. But he does some deep cuts, like This Could Be the Night. He does Melt Away, The Night Was So Young, Busy Doing Nothing. He does covers of Johnny B. Good and She's Leaving Home by the Beatles, which is fascinating. But I'm very excited to see what kind of Brian Wilson stuff we get. Unfortunately, we lost him last year. But yeah, very, very interested to see what kind of stuff from the vaults we're going to be getting. Obviously, we've gotten a few things announced already, and I'm very, very excited for this release. We got the Roxy box set last year, so very, very excited to dig into this. And yeah, that is on Oglio Records, so shout out to them. The next thing was also Brian Wilson. This was a first time on vinyl. This is his 1998 album, Imagination. This is a beautiful record. The production and the vocals on here are second to none. There's some great stuff on here. Keep an Eye on Summer is great. Lay Down Burden is a beautiful tune. Your Imagination. Yeah, really, really good stuff. This was Brian kind of really getting into like that new resurgence in his career. He'd already removed Dr. Landy as his kind of like primary conservator. He was with Melinda Ledbetter at this time, but this is through Rhino. There are plenty of copies of this too, so if you're able to get it, get it. Yeah, the song South American was written by Jimmy Buffett, which I didn't realize. So very, very excited to have this. I have the CD, I love it, but to have it on vinyl is great. This was another one that was a must for me. This is Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers live at the Paradise Rock Club from 1978. This was a bootleg that circulated for years that the Petty Camp just now put up. And there's a lot of covers on here. He does Shout, I Fought the Law, I'm a King Bee, Route 66. So very, very excited to have this. It's done by, like I said, his estate. Yeah, very, very excited to have this. I'm a Tom Petty diehard, so very, very happy to have that. And then last but certainly not least is the BBC Sessions by John Prine. This is from around his second album, so it's got stuff from those early albums. Look how young he is. Looks like his son Tommy right there. But Spanish Pipe Dream, Illegal Smile, Sam Stone, Your Flag Decal Won't Get You Into Heaven Anymore, it's Hello in there. Just the classic stuff that he would keep in his set list up until the day that he passed away. This is also through Rhino, and yeah, very, very excited to have this. So hopefully, again, we'll get more John Prine stuff here, especially that we got two different two different John Prine releases. Again, the second one I'm still looking for. Hopefully it comes up online. It's not here in my town, so we'll see. Again, I've got it on CD. If I don't end up getting it, I'm not going to be heartbroken, but yeah, very, very excited to have this stuff. Like I said, I got a couple things for some other people on here, but yeah, very, 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 very happy with Records for Today. I'm glad it went smoothly, and yeah, so that does it for me. I'm excited to see all of y'all's videos. I'm excited to see what you all got. If you don't make videos, comment, tell me what you got. Tell me if you had bad, good experiences, whatever it might be. And yeah, this is a great time to be a record collector. So that does it for me. In the meantime, y'all be good, take care, and we will see you on the next one. Bye now.